Here's something weird. You're earning the same paycheck you did a few years ago, maybe even a bigger one, but somehow it buys less. Groceries, rent, gas, your morning coffee, same money, smaller cart. And no, you're not imagining it, and you're not bad with money. You've probably been told it's just the economy, or greedy corporations, or the government printing too much cash, and every one of those is either wrong or barely half the story, because the real reason your paycheck shrinks every single year isn't bad luck, and it isn't an accident. The money itself is designed to lose value, and you specifically are last in line to get the new stuff. Let me show you. First, the story you've been told. Prices go up because companies got greedy, or because the government fired up a giant printing press and flooded the country with cash. Stuff just costs more now. That's inflation, right? Things get expensive. Here's the problem. That explanation doesn't actually explain anything. If it were just greed, why do prices climb almost every year, like clockwork in good times and bad? Were companies polite in 1990 and greedy now? And if it were just the government printing cash, well, you already know from last time that almost no money is printed at all. So if it's not the printing press and it's not just greed, what is it? Remember what we covered last time. Banks create money out of thin air every time they make a loan. And they do it constantly, which means the total pile of money in the economy is always growing. Now picture the whole economy as one giant pizza. The pizza is all the real stuff you can actually buy, like food, houses, cars, haircuts. The money is just the claims on that pizza. Here's the trick. The number of pizza slices grows slowly, but the money, the claims on those slices, grows much faster. So you end up with more and more money chasing the same amount of stuff. And when there's more money per slice, each dollar is worth a little less. Prices don't go up because things suddenly got more valuable. Prices go up because your money got less valuable. That's inflation. It's not stuff getting expensive, it's money getting weaker. And now the part that sounds like a conspiracy, except it's written down in plain sight. This slow leak in your money's value, it's not a glitch, it's the goal. Central banks, like the Federal Reserve, openly target inflation. The magic number is around 2% a year, not zero. Not keep your money stable, 2% forever, on purpose. They'll tell you it's to keep the economy healthy. A little inflation nudges people to spend and borrow instead of sitting on cash, and it quietly shrinks the real weight of all that debt we talked about. But read it again. The official policy is that your money should lose value every single year by design. So when your savings account pays you almost nothing while prices climb 3 or 4%, that's not the system failing. That's the system working exactly as intended. Okay. So the money's designed to shrink. You'd think that hits everyone equally. We're all in the same boat, right? Wrong. And this is the part almost nobody talks about because it turns out it matters enormously who gets the new money first. And where you sit in that line decides whether inflation quietly makes you richer or quietly robs you. We'll get to it in 1 second. And if this is already changing how you look at your paycheck, hit subscribe. This channel is about the boring machinery that quietly runs your money, the stuff the headlines skip. Okay, back to the line. Here's the thing they never teach you. New money doesn't magically appear in everyone's pocket at the same time. It enters the economy at specific points, and then slowly ripples outward. It shows up first with the banks, the big borrowers, the people who already own assets, and here's why that's huge. They get to spend that new money before prices have risen. They're buying at the old, cheaper prices. By the time that money has rippled all the way out to your wages, months, sometimes years later, the prices have already gone up. You get the new money last at the new, higher prices. This even has a name. Economists call it the Cantillon effect. And it's brutal. The closer you are to where money is created, the more you win. The further away, and a regular paycheck is about as far from the money printer as it gets, the more you lose. Asset prices, houses, stocks move first and fastest. Wages move last and slowest. You're not running the race, you're chasing it. So why does your paycheck specifically fall behind? Two reasons. First, wages are sticky. Your rent goes up the moment your landlord feels like it. Grocery prices change daily, but your salary, you renegotiate that maybe once a year, if you're lucky. So prices sprint while your income limps. Second, if you're holding your money as cash in a normal savings account, it is quietly melting, not crashing, melting a little every month. So slowly you don't notice until you look back 5 years and the same amount of money does half as much. Meanwhile, the people who own the assets, the houses, the stocks, watch those prices get pumped up by all that new money flowing in first. So the gap widens. The asset owners pull ahead, the wage earners fall behind, and it feels exactly like what it is working harder every year for a little bit less. So here's the real picture. Your paycheck doesn't buy less because you earn too little. It doesn't buy less because companies got greedy overnight. It buys less because the money itself is engineered to shrink around 2% a year on purpose, and because you sit at the very end of the line for that new money, buying everything at the new higher prices. Saving cash in a system like that is like filling a bucket with a hole in the bottom. None of this makes the headlines because the headlines are too busy arguing about who to blame. The machinery doesn't need anyone to blame, it just runs, and that's what this channel is for. The hidden mechanics nobody bothers to explain. So subscribe, because the next time someone tells you to just budget better, you'll know the game was rigged before your paycheck ever hit your account. See you in the next one.